Hello and welcome back to Paranormal Teach, where we explore all things haunted dolls. Today we are going to be discussing my haunted doll Rowan's story. Rowan is unusual, and when she was first investigated, everyone thought she was just a child spirit for the longest time. But then people started to notice that things were off with her, just different, not exactly normal for the spirit of a child. People were noticing things like her weird energy, her strange darkness that washes over her face sometimes, and her deep penetrating stares. She also has an abnormally high level of orb and light anomaly activity, and that is really just scratching the surface. She felt different, and eventually, after she was investigated for long enough, people finally got her on the evaluation circuit, and she really couldn't get off of it because people just couldn't figure her out. She is honestly one of those haunted dolls that you could investigate and evaluate for an incredibly long time and truly never exactly know what's happening. The day we unboxed her, we started having weird light anomalies in our house that had their own light source. Most of my other haunted dolls manipulate different light switches, the overhead lights, things like that. But Rowan can actually create her own light source, and you will see bursts of big white light throughout the house that isn't coming from a light fixture. She has been investigated by so many different people, paranormal investigators, even a demonologist, and during her evaluation process, no one could ever really come to a consensus about her because she would do new and different stuff with pretty much everyone. Eventually, she showed that she was not a normal human child at all, and at that point, everyone had to figure out what she was. Rowan was initially sent in by a woman in England who said that she had found a haunted doll and she was convinced it must be a demonic energy because it was absolutely freaking her out. Now, 9 times out of 10, when paranormal investigators hear this, it's usually a really active child spirit who just wants to be seen and heard, and they're acting out for attention. So, of course, she was taken in, and everyone kind of assumed that this would turn out the same way. But no, this turned out very, very differently. Rowan is weird. She's very childlike, but it's almost in like a fae or dark elf kind of way. The weirdness with her begins when she shows everyone the home that she lived and died in. She showed us this on the first day that she got here. It's a human house with human parents, but her parents smothered her in her sleep. Why? Because her mother was sure that this child was not hers. This did not happen back in the Dark Ages either. This happened in the 1960s in England. Her father either agreed with her mother or just went along for whatever reason. But this did happen. The body of the child was placed under the stoneway in the kitchen, and Rowan says it remains there to this day. Rowan has a lot of other memories to share, though. This was just a small portion of the life that she shows people. She has memories of what look like disfigured alien faces, elderly warped elves or fairies, but nothing like the kind of beings really anyone is used to dealing with. But whatever they are, they're inside of her head, and she is happy to share them with basically anyone who's willing to hear her out. Whether the creatures that Rowan shows are real or not, they are very, very real to her, and she really sees this as part of her experience. To be honest with you guys, we have gone back and forth on what we think she is probably 100 times. There are days that we are like, okay, this is a child, she is very, very imaginative, maybe she was gifted, maybe she was seeing things, there was mental illness, and then there are other days where we are like, there is no way that this is a human child. This has got to be fae or something. Regardless, though, Rowan has been very clear that she is completely harmless. She is safe. She is very sweet. And we're just perplexed by her energy, to be honest with you. Rowan is like a little weirdo who belongs in the Addams family, to be honest. Rowan is highly telepathic, and she has a very strange, unnerving, non-human voice that doesn't seem right coming out of her. Almost like a baby troll or something. It's impossible to describe, you just have to meet her. I'm sure she has to be like a changeling of some sort, but of what? The beings she came from are like a different reality version of a dark elf or some sort of weird fairy that no one is even aware exists. Everyone has tried to fit her into a category since they have worked with her, and really nobody can. So everyone just accepts that we do not know exactly what she is, and we are okay with that because her energy just makes up for it. Interestingly, though, she appreciates being treated just like one of the kids, and we treat her no differently than any other kid spirit in our house. But you can tell she's just not one of the kids. She's very connected to the elements, especially fire and earth. She loves to play with flames. She also has a thing for storms, and she seems to gain a lot of energy from them. So anytime it storms, our house has a lot of activity. Our girl just really likes to see the thunderclouds rolling in. She has a very powerful energy for someone who feels and acts so childlike. You get the feeling that she is good at camouflaging herself to fit right in. Rowan is a very attentive spirit. She seems to always be listening to what is going on in the house, and she always seems to know what's going to happen here. She is extremely telepathic, and she tends to really push her voice, especially for people who think that they can't hear spirits. Her voice is so shockingly strange and not ever what you would expect. It can feel weird and spooky when you hear her for the first time. She really just wanted to be in a house where she can fit right in with everybody, and we treat her no differently than any other spirit for that reason. Rowan is certainly intense, and her energy has been known to feel overwhelming or even scary, especially to newbies, but she is not evil or anything like that. I just think she slipped into the wrong dimension somehow, or her people put her here for some reason. She has no problem telling us exactly who she is, whether that be through dreams or the spirit box. Honestly, more than anything, she seems confused at our confusion. She truly seems like she has no idea quite how unique and amazing she really is. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more haunted doll stories.